seems like it is back up now, though. And good to go. So crossing our fingers and hopefully not the biggest deal in the world. So let's go ahead and jump back into the game, though. We did get them to pause, so we literally have not missed anything yet. So that's the good news there. Of course, they're going to be sitting in this pause here, but once they are ready to go, then we will be good to resume this game. But as you do see down here at the bottom lane, we got a big crew here from Pikachu. 4 of them, they were going for a gank on no friends, playing this Bubbles here. Poor guy, but he was able to avoid the initial fissure stun, and it looks like he should be fine in the end. Miraxis has his Quake, and it just isn't close enough, so yeah, Bubbles should be fine, but Pikachu not going to be able to get the kill initially, but they do go with a very aggressive ward, actually, to start off the game behind the tower, so we'll see what kind of lineup they're going to be running. A little bit curious. It looks like a possibility Engineer, Flux, and Behemoth are going to be down here at the bottom lane, though, so interested to see how that plays out. That's definitely a unique tri-lane here.
So then a solo Miraxis and then a solo Tremble. Okay, well I guess that could work. Tremble is going to be in the short lane up against probably a Suicide Pharaoh. And Pharaoh does not have a hatchet. He actually went for the more regen route. Maybe he thought he was going to be going up against 2 or 3. And that's what you normally do against that kind of lane. But when he's up against a Tremble, he's definitely going to need that hatchet, and I actually hope he purchases it later. Actually, Bubbles still trying to avoid death. He shell surfs over here into his own, like behind his tower, and he'll be just fine, actually. Only eating 1 tree right there at the end, so no friends. Making some friends with the trees right there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Tremble will be in that short lane, but, yeah, I really do hope that Pharaoh does actually get that hatchet. Otherwise, he's going to get massively out CS in this top lane.
Yeah. Miraxis is going to be part of this tri-lane instead, though. Flux is actually going middle, so a little bit of a switch up there. I guess I just assumed it was going to be that because of the double range, at least. But, no, they're going to run double melee. Again, Behemoth, it's not necessarily with a fissure stun. You can consider him a range in that sense. Now, he made this very likely end up playing just a roaming in the end, because obviously it is only the solo Bubbles down here, so not a huge reason for him to be committed to down here unless they want to go for the early kill. We do see Behemoth is going to stand here blocking this camp, and actually Engineer bringing the creep wave all the way up here. Is going to pull these Minotaurs? No, he's just going to take it all the way around. Very interesting what's going on here. Very unique strategy coming out from Pikachu.
Yeah, kind of awkward. That's going to give, of course, Bubbles is going to have a harder time getting CS, but actually no, because he got 3 out of the 4, so good job for him. And another vote to pause, guys. It's this time done by Probusk, the Tremble player up in the top lane. And let's check out some early CS. Well, there's really no point in talking about that, so never mind. Anyway, that was kind of funny. An interesting poll there. Maybe they just wanted to get the lane in a favorable position there for them, and going to make it difficult for Bubbles to actually walk up there. Seeing how Behemoth is actually roaming, he's actually sitting over here by the hard camp, maybe trying to spot out Ophelia. Ophelia's actually in the Hellborn jungle, so maybe looking to be aggressive here onto Tremble if he finds a favorable minion. He actually finds Vagabonds up there. Maybe he wants to gank this Flux, but Hellborn team does a good job by preventing any ganks coming out from him. Own Me placed a ward above his own mid lane.
Yeah, that's obviously very, very smart, especially when you have an aggressive Ophelia coming into your own jungle. So good start for them. Tremble against Pharaoh at this top lane, though. Probusk playing Tremble against your boy Harry on Pharaoh. Of course, your boy Harry. We got Ophelia up here applying some harassment. Going to come in and help kill the Mound, though. Make things a little bit easier on Pharaoh, I guess. So very interesting strategy actually coming out there, and really just want to keep as much pressure as possible on this Tremble. In fact, also going to kill the next Mound and maybe even apply a little bit of damage on the tower. Nope, just going to fall back. So Ophelia coming out aggressive, not really for a kill off the bat, but making life a little bit easier on Pharaoh, and again harassing Tremble at least a little bit from the beginning. But Ophelia's going to go back to the jungle now and continue to farm for the time being.
Again, though, Tremble has that hatchet, and along with the Impalers, makes it so easy to both last hit and deny creeps. I mean, look at these already. There's a Hellfire actually being animation canceled there. But Tremble, look at his CS already early on, 8-4. 9-4 actually, and a Pharaoh is 1-1, and he's able to apply pressure to this Pharaoh. Pharaoh does pop the Hellfire. It's only level 1 though, and he's going to be around creeps as well, so it's going to mitigate a lot of those procs. And yeah, he's going to have a rough time here, despite the Ophelia coming up here and trying to mess with him and take down his Terror Mounts. But I don't think Tremble really gives 2 shits about that. And yet again, another vote to pause.
Yeah, obviously the first one was definitely on us, so we can apologize for that. But here we are. Now a couple pauses coming out from Pikachu. Apparently, Book timed out. He's the one at the land, if I recall. I mean, I believe he's still there.
No,
so.
he's walking back as Miraxis.
No, yeah, I said he's at the LAN, though. The events in Denmark that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, the LAN. I
The
thought you
LAN,
said lane.
No, the LAN. Yeah, so I thought he was in the LAN. Maybe he's not there anymore, but hey, if he is, then my point being that maybe the whole place having some issues. But hopefully he'll be able to, of course, rejoin quickly here and then can continue on. But anyways, Behemoth, he went to set up a gank here in the middle lane with Flux. I mean, he got a great trap on a fade actually being played by Jabba Waba here, but Flux he pulled him in, threw out his nuke, and then Flay just kind of ran away. So it really wasn't the most threatening of ganks right there. Without a follow-up stun, really, to Behemoth, it's just not the most realistic for getting any kills. So maybe that was just the goal in the end, though. Just kind of threaten him a little bit, let him know that he's there. And so I guess mission accomplished in that sense. But he used the mana poth, and now he's heading towards the top lane, actually. So it seems like near playing this Behemoth here may just be playing kind of more of a pure roaming Behemoth, rather than sticking in any of the lanes. So we'll see how that works out. But as you said, kind of joking about there, but Morax he actually is all the way back to the base now just about.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate, obviously getting timed out there. So Bubbles is easily going to have a good time now, although Engineer's nearby, but Engineer by himself, not the largest threat necessarily. So
yeah, Engineer's going to take over a little bit of CS, hopefully, while Moraxis is gone. But yeah, Bubbles, I mean, regardless, the lane is going to get pushed up, and so Bubbles is not going to really be able to get that much, but it does certainly help out a little bit. Really, the story here is going to be this top lane. Tremble is going to be farming like a beast. And hopefully with the Pharaoh having that 264 gold, I really do suggest going to buy a hatchet, or again, you're going to miss out on a lot of CS. I'm also curious to see what kind of build Pharaoh decides to go. He's 1-1-1 right now. 1 in Hellfire, 1 in the Wall of Mummies, and 1 in that Tormented Soul. Normally in a suicide lane, we do actually see Pharaohs max that Tormented Soul, so you can actually spam and maybe push up the lane. But when you're up against one and you know you're not going to be, there's not a real threat of death to you, Tremble, yeah, he will out-CS you. He will maybe harass a little bit, but he can't really kill you. That's sometimes a good indication of maybe maxing that Hellfire. And apparently small kids are pulling out his internet cable. Oh, whoa.
I think it's safe to say he's still at the LAN.
Yeah. Outplayed.
That's one of the downsides of being at a LAN, of course, especially at a bigger LAN like that where you're just around people you may not know too well, and they tend to pull out your internet cables every now and then, I guess. So looks like he's good now, though. He has joined back, and we'll have to run all the way back to the bottom lane. But like you said, that's just an unfortunate circumstance. Engineer taking it over, though, for a little bit, and Bubbles will go to the side shop and actually finish his Ring of Teacher. Not really capitalizing, though, too much in terms of creep farm. Tremble getting blocked by Pharaoh here a little bit, but as you're saying, not the biggest deal. Tremble will just go back to the lane and continue to really free farm even, yeah. And up here, I mean, Ophelia's nearby. She has a Catman champion, but again, is it even going to be enough for a kill if they try to dive him? Probably not. So instead, he's going to spot out this Behemoth actually roaming in. We'll use the Catman champion nuke right there. Going to apply a lot of damage on Behemoth. I don't think it's going to be a kill, but just really going to even force him to use a health potion, which he does right there. So, and now very aware that Behemoth is roaming around, looking to maybe set something up. But it's kind of an awkward situation at that top lane, but I don't think, well, Behemoth again taking a lot of harassment from Ophelia, actually. He's going to use the Fidget Stun. Tremble is coming on over. He's ready to use those Impalers with the auto attacks, but now Pharaoh's coming over himself, and Tremble will just fall back, so awkward sense going to the top lane.
Yeah, I think Ophelia's going to be much better suited just seriously just farming and free farming in the jungle. When you have a roaming Behemoth, that means he's going to get absolutely nothing. He's going to be very underleveled. If you're able to remedy that problem by just sitting in the jungle, getting massive amounts of farm, I've talked about this is why junglers are very effective, is because it's like a support hero that gets massive amounts of farm and experience. And so knowing that the Behemoth is roaming, you can abuse that and just free farm in the jungle. In the meantime, you have Bubbles now squaring off against this Moraxis 1v1, and it's about a 6-3 creep score for Bubbles. Moraxis 15-8, so easily winning that lane. It doesn't even have a hatchet, actually. And it actually would have been a little bit better for him had he not walked back to base, so doing really well in that bottom lane. Top lane, Pharaoh actually dishing out a fair amount of damage onto Tremble. He does pick up that hatchet, and he actually is maxing up that Hellfire. It's only level 2 right now, as he does ding level 5, so expect him to level up that once more. But Tremble, with his Impalers, with the Terror Mounts, of course, one's not up for him right now, but it does give him considerable amount of life regen.
Here comes Flux, though, coming in with the haste rune, but Pharaoh did see it coming. They have, of course, the ward aside up here at the top rune, and so Flux's haste gank attempt is unsuccessful. Instead, he'll come back towards the middle lane. Obviously, Fade taking more advantage of that. Speaking of Fade, I mean, his creep farm looking very strong here. 21 and 14 creep farm for Jabba Waba. Playing this Fade off to a great start in that sense, and, I'm sure Glacius has done his own part, being played by Lock Shadow here. Actually, have Team Zenith apparently, so protecting Fade here in the middle lane, and again, doing a good job of that. Flux, on the other hand, Flux has his couple of crushing claws. He's got his bottle now, as we saw right there, of course, with the HP. Meanwhile, at the top lane, actually, Pharaoh getting blocked by this fissure stun. Tremble going in there with the auto attack. You see the Hellfire doing work, actually, and Tremble needs to be careful. He's the one dropping a little bit himself. There's a health potion used by Pharaoh, and actually Tremble going back in, but now Pharaoh looking to turn this around, but just doesn't have enough mana to do much else. Behemoth's going to start beating onto him. Meanwhile, Bloodlust kill at the bottom lane in favor of TPS Prices. Will Behemoth land this fissure stun the block off? No, he does not stun him. Instead, Pharaoh ran the other way. The Impalers again going off right there, but Pharaoh is going to live in the end. In fact, coming back in right here, but Tremble already falling back, so unfortunate. But the bottom lane did get a kill on a Bubbles. Again, Bloodlust going out for Engineer at least.
Yeah, and you still have, that was a really fun exchange to watch, and Pharaoh, I feel like almost could have maybe even manned up just a little bit more before using that wall of mummies as he was trying to fog there in the side shot, but nonetheless, good job in juking around and getting what could have been a very deadly gank against him. Nonetheless, Bubbles is suffering down here in the bottom lane. The Bloodlust kill does go to TPS Priceless on the Engineer, and Mirax is just free farming down there. Tremble free farming up top. Fade free farming mid, though, against this, who is it? This Flux, and now, what kind of Behemoth is roaming around here as well as this Engineer. So Fade doing a lot of good. He's actually getting a double stun there. The Fisher Stun comes out, does block him. The Glacial Ice Imprisonment does come out. Fade, a couple more auto attacks, he will die. So TPS Priceless gets yet another kill here in the mid lane.
Yeah, that was a great attempt from Jabba Waba. I mean, he actually did a good job of avoiding the Keg Stun and eventually the turret to come out, but it just wasn't going to happen. The Fissure Stun, always a powerful ability, even with a level 1, now level 2 Behemoth. Again, that's just what helps make this hero every now and then at least picked up on the competitive scene. That Fissure Stun, it lasts forever, it seems like. It's this huge wall, and if placed correctly, it will set up kills, as we saw right there. So great job coming out by Nero and Behemoth to set that up, and of course Owned Me and TPS Priceless with the follow-up, just enough damage. So 2-0 hero kill advantage coming out here for Pikachu early on in this game, only coming up to the 7-minute mark now. Engineer now roaming to the top lane, looking to set something up, but Pharaoh's busy going for the top room, which isn't there, but instead going to head towards mid and maybe try to set up a gank. He is level 6, so of course has that Wrath of the Pharaoh. You see Catman Champion also hiding here in the middle lane behind it. So Flux, he's definitely weary that something is up. He does have a double damage ring currently activated, but he knows something's going on, so doesn't really want to overcommit just yet. And it will be fine because of that. This bottom lane, let's take a quick glance at that real quickly. Actually, Flux pulling in Fade right here. The Behemoth Fissure Stun going out. Jabba Wabba will turn around, though, with Burning Shadows. You see the turret going to be used, but not nearly enough. Fade will be ported back, actually, and it will be fine. Meanwhile, though, Tremble picks off Pharaoh at the top lane, so...
Yeah, that was a great Burning Shadow Stun. Actually hits 3, but Probusk, I don't see what happened there. Some assistance. Actually, the assistance was from the pull from Flux, but didn't really do any damage. But gets a very good kill onto that Pharaoh, and his farm is going to be incredible. One of the things here about this game, though, is Ophelia is spending a lot of time trying to gank and not getting any farm in the jungle. She's only level 3. She could be just free farming this jungle, only 14 CS, and a lot of those are small little neutral creeps as well.
Yeah.
And against, like I said, against a roaming Behemoth, even a kind of pseudo-roaming Engineer, if you just free farm in the jungle, he'd be like level 7 right now with massive amounts of farm. So I disagree with the decision of Harry Shell. Okay. It's sitting here in the or trying to be more aggressive against this roaming side of the Hellborn.
Yeah, well, Flux is going to come back to the middle lane again, a Haste Room bottled up. We'll see what he makes use or how he makes use of that. But yeah, Ophelia still level 3. Currently hasn't that Vagabond leader, but going to run into a Minotaur camp, and those definitely take a while to eventually take out. We'll see if she just takes over the Minotaur after killing this Gotar here. That's probably what she's going to end up doing. But anyways, Fade has now come to the top lane. Still not level 6 just yet. Perhaps pretty close. Still level 5. We'll see if he gets that soon. Obviously, Boris is out, though, for Tremble. He is level 8. Has that Boris out for a little bit, and I'm sure that's actually a part of why he even got that kill earlier onto Pharaoh. Unfortunately, missing the action due to watching elsewhere. But Ophelia is going to run into a Behemoth, only level 3, but so is herself. And actually, Behemoth's going to try to juke in the woods a little bit right here. Hopefully, for his sake, he doesn't get trapped. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, though, Glacius gets jumped on, and the hasted Flux just a little bit too much. Ophelia running back towards the mid lane, but obviously not going to get there nearly in time. In fact, Flux looking to dive Ophelia now, and with the assistance of Behemoth, this could work out well. We do have a homecoming support coming in. It is going to be stunned right off the bat by the Keg. But Bubbles will be fine by now. Fade running into a lot of trouble. Is going to take the stun from the ultimate, the kit field. There's enough damage. No, it is not. The haste rune just lasting long enough for Fade right there. We'll be fine for now. Fade is, or excuse me, for Flux right there. Fade is chasing, but Flux will barely survive, so that was close.
That was really close. I mean, the Kelp field is a great tool against a haste rune, but they just simply didn't have enough damage, and a good power supply coming out from Owned Me. He's a great player as well, and a lot of great players on this Team Pika team. And good getaway by him. And again, I still can't stress enough that the problem really with this team, the Legion side, Team Will Smith, I'll just call them, is this Ophelia. She's only level 3. Really could have been free farming in the woods.
Yeah. Not having the best of game, unfortunately. She is going to group up here in the middle lane with both Fade and Glacius. Fade finally hitting level 6 right there. I was just about to commentate on that again, but it seems like he's been level 5 for a while. But Jabba Wabba is level 6, so it has that threat now of the ultimate at least. A little bit of tower pressure, but not nearly enough. There was a tower deny at the top lane, by the way, coming out from your boy Harry, again playing that Pharaoh. So again, positive news there for Will Smith, at least on the Legion side, but still the tower is dead nonetheless. Morax has been doing his own thing at the bottom lane, and it is showing. He is level 9 now. Book is 340 gold per minute. He has enough money for his portal key. In fact, he's going to go to the side shop right here, probably purchase it.
Yeah.
And, of course, with the Steam Boots, there you go. So he has Steam Boots portal key now already on Moraxis, only 11 minutes in. Behemoth is coming down here as well. They're going to try to maybe combo something, but little do they know Fade is nearby now. Fade going to go for a counter, actually. Bubbles with the shelter in. There's support from Moraxis. Will be enough for turnaround. No, well, not for now. Behemoth will fall, and now Moraxis actually in a little bit of trouble. Pharaoh and Nuki coming in. There's our glacial downpour, and Moraxis, oh my god, he's still alive. No, okay, he's going to fall in the end. Engineer running in. Not in time, though. So, good job there by the Legion team coming out. Kill onto him.
Yeah, I think if Book decided to go in, which he did, it should have been on the Bubbles before Bubbles got the Shell Surf off and just went on him. Owned Me gets a good kill onto Pharaoh, so a solo kill for Flux on that Pharaoh. Your boy Harry, Breaky, is not having that great of a game, unfortunately. He is 0-2-0. Needs to find something with that hook, really. And they need to find some initiation, maybe with the Fade to set up that gives the good clear vision from the ulti, and then hook on top of that. And like I said in the very beginning, this team is early. Like they have absolutely no game or late game at all on the Legion side. So they need to pick it up very quickly.
Yeah, so this really amplifies the fact that they are down by as much as they are early on in this game. We've talked about that in the past. If you build a lineup like that, it's just not good news. Bubbles almost as if he shell surfed right there, ported in, but just wasn't close enough to Probusk on Tremble. Tremble's more than fine. In fact, he's going to roam around a little bit, but speaking of Tremble, 375 gold per minute. He either has a lot of gold saved up or bought something. Okay, he does have Steam Boots ringing the feature, so maybe that's what he spent that gold on. But meanwhile, in the middle lane now, Glacius was going for a kill, but at what cost right there? Glacius will be taken out. Jabba Wabba just falling back. Nothing more he could have done, and now Probusk has joined his team in the middle lane. And they're going to go for a little bit of a tower push. Fade does have his ultimate up right now if he wants to choose to maybe use it to get something here. But Helm of the Black Legion just delivered. That's what it was on Tremble. And now just going to tank this tower even and quickly, or fairly quickly, start to burn it down. We do see support coming over. Level 4 Ophelia as well as a level 8 Bubbles. He does have a Kelp field. Whether he uses a Burning Shadows, completely missing right there. That's unfortunate. Kama Champion will catch Pharaoh hook just out of range. We see the deny in the towers. Moraxis jumped in, so good job right there. Kelp field coming up, but Moraxis activates the ultimate, and the Legion team will dare not initiate. So, good deny, but in the end, again, another tower kill in favor of Pikachu.
To be honest, though, even if he did hook, I feel like that would have been bad for his team.
Yeah.
They just simply don't have the damage right now, and they're tanky. I mean, hell, Moraxis is quite tanky with that ultimate, and you got the Helm of the Black Legion up on Tremble, as well as the Ring of the Teacher. Kind of an interesting build. This is a very different build than we saw actually Angry tested when we casted him.
True.
So he just went for the straight Steam Boots into the Maka Brilliance, and he had it. I mean, can't blame him. He had it at like 14 minutes, so. But I really do think, and actually No Friends gets a kill onto Nier down here in the bottom lane. Engineer trying to get something. He gets the turret off. There's the Flux ultimate. Actually, the stun misses as a result of that Flux ultimate. It was kind of funny, but they both, actually No Friends does get taken out. That was a really funny exchange.
Yeah, that's another case. You talk about this from time to time. You know, having a hero that can make for great situations, but you got to have the communication. Flux is definitely one of those heroes. With his ultimate, if you're not communicating exactly what you want to do, then you can have instances like that. Clearly, more Axis and Flux runs a little bit different of a page. In the end, not the worst in the world. They have a hefty lead, and they still got a kill out of it nonetheless. The defensive tower also going to fall right here at the bottom lane. I don't think the Legion team is... I mean, they're heading over, actually. Pharaoh does have a hook ready to go. There's the invulnerability. Will they get a hook off? Is he going to use it right now? No, he's not. He's just going to run in. And actually, Moraxis is going to start falling back. He wants this tower kill. Is it going to be worth it? Probably not. He will activate his ultimate. The tower yet again will be denied. All 3 towers getting denied here by Will Smith and crew. So, again, that's the good news. That's not the greatest good news to have, though, but we are coming up to the 15-minute mark now. And the overall stats are starting to get bigger and better for Pikachu. 7,600 gold lead, 5,100 experience lead. That on top of this Legion team just being a very early good team, again, is just not helping their status. Flux is roaming around with an invisibility rune. He wants to try to find somebody maybe he can pick off. That could be this Ophelia, perhaps, maybe this Glacius. But there's a lot of people around, so this would be a very risky move if he does open.
He does have level 4 into his Q and W, so he went the more damage route. I usually, when I play Flux, I like to go W and E to have that massive spamming ability with your W, but the Q ability... It still does a static movement speed slow no matter what level, but it does a significant amount of burst damage, actually, that release spell. So he has a lot of burst damage. He is invis for another 13 seconds. Maybe not going to look to open on, but maybe they're going to set something up. They have Moraxis here. Actually, no, Moraxis, that's Tremble. The gray and light blue colors always look similar to me. But no, that's actually Tremble. So probably not going to initiate on here. The invis is now up. They might have even spotted him. He's kind of in a pickle here. Walking by this fade, because kind of do-si-doing. Where's he going to go?
He's going to be fine in the end, it looks like. And he's going to pour it out. So that was a little bit funny. That was like your typical baseball situation in between the bases.
Yeah.
Not sure which way to go. Back and forth, but finally just snuck away. And he ports to the middle lane, actually. So he is ready to team fight with the rest of the team. Oh, that was a misclick right there. Flux, he just hit his Q on accident. Or I believe it was. I mean, it didn't seem like there was a reason. So the release used. Not the longest cooldown, though. It'll be back up shortly, and he will be more than fine. But it looks like the Legion teams have screwed it. It's not worth making something happen here. Bottom lane, Pharaoh was definitely in a little bit of trouble, but he's able to run away with a haste rune before he gets jumped. Well, it looked like to be Moraxis ready to go and Behemoth to follow up. But, again, he's going to be fine. So farming will continue. You look at Jabba Wabba playing that Fade. You know, he is not doing too shabby, but even with him, I mean, it really is just not looking good right now for the Legion side. And it's a case of Pikachu. There's no reason for them to force anything right now, but honestly, if they wanted to, it seems like they could just honestly push and make it very difficult on the Legion side. But they might as well farm up some more and get their at least first couple of items here on several other heroes, and then maybe look to make a push.
Yep, things are looking really good for them. Behemoth up in the top lane, maybe going to try to set something up on the Jabba Wabba. But Jabba Wabba is actually going for a more tanky route. It's kind of interesting. He has that Mighty Blade up, has about 1,000 gold, or I always say gold, 1,000 HP max. So it's going to take him a little bit more to take him down. Engineer's up here, maybe wants to use the ultimate. Has that 3 in a keg and 2 in the turret. But no, they're just kind of sitting here waiting for maybe someone else, as Fade's kind of playing a little bit too far back.
Yeah, possibly waiting for him to just push up, but Jabba Wabba is a little too smart for that. He's not going to risk it, and for good reason. He definitely would have been dead, I would think. I mean, or maybe not. He does have his ultimate, but still would have put him in a very dangerous situation. However, he's going to go back up. He's going to at least take out the Terror Mound here. We'll see if Tremble maybe pours to it and catches him off guard. Probably not, though. He's just going to quickly take it out. And the rest of the team is joining him, though. So it's kind of important he gets the kill quickly so they don't see that. So, yeah, the rest of the team going to be joining him. Ophelia Bubbles is here. You got both the Skeleton King and a Minotaur minion. You got Fade activating the ultimate, and he is ready to jump somebody here at the top lane. Of course, the tower is here. But right now, it is just Behemoth and Engineer. Behemoth, the one that's going to be jumped. Where's the Burning Shadows? There's the Burning Shadows. In comes the Kelfield. Will Engineer use the ultimate? Yes, he will. Pharaoh jumps in at the same time. Behemoth goes down, but Flux jumps in. There's Moraxis joining the party as well. Great Craigson on top of that, and the return damage is just way too intense right now for our Legion team. They're just falling apart. Bubbles goes down. The only Decifar still on that Behemoth for the Hellborn side. Basically ends up being a 3-for-1 exchange. We did see Glacius falling back in Pharaoh. Pharaoh, well, he just got away as soon as possible, so yeah, good return.
The turn potential from this Hellborn side is so strong, so if you're going to go initiate on somebody, you got to kill back immediately, especially now when you have the portal keys starting to come up. Behemoth, of course, he's very far away from his, but Moraxis, I was watching Book the whole time in the bottom lane. He TP'd immediately. A couple of things to note about his item build. I love Chalice. I've been playing more and more with Blood Chalice, and I think it's actually a great item. It has been buffed recently. it does give constant mana regen as well. And I think with strength heroes that still, you want to be tanky, but you still need a mana pool. Heroes like Pharaoh, actually, and even Miraxis. Chalice works very, very well. So he does pick up a Chalice. I definitely approve of that. Tremble has another 4K gold. Maybe even go for that Mock of Brilliance as well. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that would be a smart item to pick up for him.
Yeah, 4,000 gold. Not often you see that save this much this early on in the game, but if you do, something like a Mock of Brilliance is definitely an item that we possibly could see. So we'll see what Tremble ultimately decides to do. Maybe a straight-up Shrunken Head. He just got the gold for that too, but not purchasing it just yet. So it tends me to believe that it is going to be maybe that first item, or not really first item, but an early Mock of Brilliance. Fade is roaming around here at the top lane, trying to catch somebody out. She is level 9, so some decent levels. She has those Ghost Marchers. Her damage up and not bad. And actually, Miraxis is the one maybe in a little bit of trouble here, but I believe Fade's ultimate actually, yeah, she just deactivates right there. She's just going to try to charge in. Burning Shadow's full range. It looks like it did hit, actually. And Miraxis is going to fall. Very good timing right there, actually coming out between the two. And Bubbles and Fade. I thought the Burning Shadows was just out of range, but
yeah,
it hit and helped set up the kill right there.
Yeah, good job for him. I'm still kind of curious about this build, this item build for Fade. This is not anything close to what we've seen. Normally we see a number of things. Well, Striders into Blink, or Fast Codex. Those are the things that come to mind, or even Hellflower. But Mighty Blade, maybe going for a first item Shrunken, which might be viable, I suppose, but he's not going to nearly, yeah, he is going to go for a Shrunken. But he's not nearly going to have the ganky potential, I feel like, that a Fade can. And the reason why Portal Key is so good is, obviously, you get that clear vision up. It's much more effective at level 11. And you don't have to necessarily burst out of your ultimate. You can just use that ultimate for the vision. That's the most important part. And so being able to see where all those enemy heroes are and then pounce on them accordingly is the most effective route. But he's going to have the Shrunken Head, and that's going to mitigate pretty much all the damage of this Hellborn side.
All right, so it's not really my place to call this. I'm not an admin of this event, but Pharaoh just purchased a Sacrificial Stone. As we talked about earlier, they became eligible for tournament mode, but for this event, because it was already in progress, the admins did decide for it not to be allowed in the tournament. You know what? So I guess we're gonna let this play out, and we'll bring it up in between games at the very least. They are at a huge deficit, so that's why I'm sitting here, not making. If this was a very close game, I honestly probably would, maybe try to get an admin in here or whatnot, but I don't think it's going to be the hugest deal. But he does pick up a Sacrificial Stone. For those that are curious, I'm actually kind of curious myself. I don't get to see this item too much. Again, I like to focus more on the competitive scene, and since it just became available.
To be honest, I don't think the item is even going to be that effective here. But nonetheless, it is fun to watch. I think the item is very strong.
It definitely, it's obviously on use. You get the 3 armor. Oh, bottom lane, actually, we do have a Flux ultimate being used. But look at this turnaround chance, perhaps. Jabawawa throwing out the Burning Shadows. Meanwhile, at the top lane, a kill does happen. Pharaoh misses the Wrath of the Pharaoh right there. That's unfortunate. Actually, Tremble's going to run, and he does have the Mock of Brilliance, as you can see. And, well, the Legion team is just going to fall back. So another kill happening. But, yeah, so...
Yeah, and there's the help of the Black Legion actually completed onto Miraxis. So going the more tanky route after getting that Blood Chalice and that Portal Key. But yeah, the great thing about Sackstone, and normally when you have a Sackstone, for all you guys that are testing out in pubs and whatnot, is the ability on it that gives you the armor boost, the +3 armor to all nearby units for 30 seconds. That's actually longer by 5 seconds than the cooldown. So you can have it on permanently. It does not stack with the Plated Greaves, so that's one thing to note. But it's a really good item in that aspect. It actually provides a lot for pushing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely an item that, with it becoming eligible, of course, so the first event it's going to technically be eligible for is, sure enough, Han Tour. The Icon of the Goddess, and then, of course, the 6 heroes that were introduced this last Friday's patch, I guess yesterday even, into the game. So I am very excited for that. But, yeah, technically for this event, we're not supposed to be seeing those just yet. But, again, it's not the biggest deal in the world. It's a minor item, and there is a huge disadvantage right now for them. So, speaking of that, it's a 12,000 golden experience really in favor of Pikachu. Like I said, Tremble already having the Mock of Brilliance, another 1,100 gold saved up. He is just a farming machine right now. I keep going back to it. It does feel like Pikachu could honestly just group up and really just take it to this Legion side right now if they wanted to. But, might as well just, if you're ahead, get further ahead, as we always like to refer to. And why the hell not? Because this Legion side, they just don't really have – they have 0 late game. And you were talking about that, stressing that earlier. And that, of course, still stands. So, Pikachu, again, in no rush. They're not getting outmatched here. They're not getting jumped by any means. Although Fade with a level 11 ult or level 2 ultimate, he's level 11. Trying to find somebody again, but I don't think he is, unfortunately. Congo being attempted in the meantime, actually.
Yeah, Congo's going to drop here relatively soon. Mach Brilliance is going to do wonders here in team fights. Fade has used that ultimate, just popped it, so he's going to have that clear vision very close to her shrunken head, actually. Going to spot out maybe some people know, just kind of walking towards the mid, so not be able to find. Actually, just pops out of it right there in the mid. So unfortunately, not going to make any use of that ultimate. That illegal item. I'm just going to give a smiley.
I think they realized, yeah. They probably realized, yeah. Again, for them, it's probably the same case for them. You know, if this was a very close game, they would probably bring it up, but and it's understand they have every right to, but it really isn't a big deal. Kongor is going to fall right here, and sure enough, Token of Life will now be on Tremble, excuse me. So good news there again for Pikachu, and yet again, that is a point to bring up. Obviously, with them being an Australian team, it is very early for them. Of course, you know, we go through that with TT Esports all the time, and they've by all means used to it by now. Technically not even an Australian team anymore, by the way. Of course, only having Slicks and Waitalaba from that region anymore. But Flux in the middle lane. He's going to get Talboted away, actually. That may be the saving grace for him. Ports are coming in. There's the kill field. There's the Flux ultimate. The energy field, I'm sure, going to be coming out. Not just yet, actually. Oh, it's on cooldown. That's why. And here's the combo coming up for the Legion. They bump Behemoth. Portal Key jumps in, and that just obliterates them. Tremble joins the party as well. And I think our Legion team is in a lot of trouble now. Fade already got the hell on out of there, but the rest of them are dead. Engineer, actually, the only death when it's all said and done. And now Pikachu's just going to group up and maybe push, and maybe not, though.
That was really ballsy play, I got to say, by Flux. He was, like, going in, just flirting with death, like, come at me, bro. And with just a couple hits from dying there, but just kept going back in and forth. And it was really fun to watch. But nonetheless, a big one-team fight there. And actually, if you can see, there's the animation of that Sackstone right next to that tower. It does give experience and vision there. But yeah, kind of funny that he did still buy that. Yeah, again, I think it's a very fun item. I think when it actually does become implemented in tournament play, obviously you can buy it physically, but it's just not supposed to happen in this tournament because we're in the middle of it. But I'm sure we're going to see it actually picked up quite frequently.
Oh yeah, you know, I am very certain that it's going to be an item that, you know, we see probably every game. It does bring a lot to the table. You know, who you get it on, definitely you could debate, but having that just AoE presence, as you said, you have a +3 armor buff that you can keep up infinite if you really wanted to, because of the 25-second cooldown and it lasting 30 seconds. So yeah, definitely an item I wouldn't be surprised to see, and on top of the Grave Locket effect that it applies is very solid.
So I didn't even know this, but the Grave Locket gives you actually some action there in the mid. Mirax is maybe flirting with death a little bit. The ultimate is up from Fade. Maybe looking to do something there. It does have that shrunken head, but yeah, I didn't notice this, but the regular Grave Locket gives you 10 seconds off your death spawn timer. The upgraded
12 seconds,
Sackstone, gives you 12 seconds.
I wasn't aware of that either, but I did read that as you were kind of bringing that up, so that is interesting too. Again, these newer items still similar. And I know, obviously, again, as I said earlier, Icon of the Goddess, the other item that is also implemented. It's kind of it takes place somewhat of the original Sacrificial Stone, of course, with the charges that add up and all the regeneration and whatnot. So I'm also curious to see if maybe that's probably not, but that's probably not going to be that, and then we'll see. But yeah, definitely Sacrificial Stone. I'm sure we'll see bits and pieces of here and there in games once it becomes officially eligible. But anyways, in this game here, 28 minutes in, Tremble's level 16 now. What did he purchase? Oh, a Shrunken Head. That's what's new. So he has a Shrunken Head here. Moraxis, tanky as always. In the front lines, not too worried. Behemoth is level 12, and he's just sitting back here. He's ready to portal key in. So right now, obviously, Pikachu, they're just kind of trying to bait out this Legion team to see if they can, see if they'll fall for anything. But not going to be just yet. Pikachu, again, just taking their time, not forcing anything as they shouldn't. And just going to wait for the right opportunity to take place. See Book making a comment of the server just now.
I think that the Legion side is going to be suffering just as much. They have a lot. Actually, there's the ultimate combination. Pharaoh comes in. I'll let you take over, Break.
Energy field already used, obviously. Flux, he already ulted himself. Behemoth finally jumps and catches 3 heroes, actually, in the background. So a decent start for the Legion team, but as expected, doesn't end the greatest. Fade is chasing this Flux, so Fade with that Shrunken Head activated. And actually, Flux portal keys away at the last second towards the team. The Skeleton King trying to finish him off. It's not going to happen, though. And Ophelia will fall on top of that. Fade is going to be able to pour it out, but this tower now going to start dropping. And I don't know how many more fights our Legion team can keep putting into this. It's just it's getting too overwhelming, it seems like.
I cannot believe this Flux is still living. And that Shrunken Head was a long timer. That must have been his second one at least.
Yeah.
That was his first. Okay, I was like, yeah, that's the longest Shrunken Head I've ever seen. But stand behind buildings, interesting. Anyway, we didn't get to see the combination that it wasn't that. Didn't have that much flair, I should say. But yeah, again, this Flux is living life on the edge. I think he got out of there with like 15 HP or something.
Yeah, very low. Well, he portal keyed back in. He portal keyed towards the base, which was interesting, but he's just trying to make a juke. But he ran into the Skeleton King controlled by Ophelia. I thought it was actually going to kill him. That would have been pretty laughable, but it did not. He got away in the end and survived. So 2,300 gold saved up on Tremble. He's pushing up this bottom lane a little bit, and he needs to be careful because Fate is coming down with the ultimate activated, and he does have support from Bubbles nearby. He's going to shell surf forward, actually. They're going to go for a kill even. I don't know, though. This is going to be close. He gets boards out. He activates a Shrunken Head. Look at Fade's like, ah, crap, this isn't good. He's going to try to run away. It's not going to happen, though. Fade is dead. And that's what I was about to say. I mean, I don't know if they can honestly kill him even, so
that
risky
was pretty
attempt.
silly.
Didn't work out right there. However, Fade or Engineer's going to run. Oh, but he was portal keys away from Ophelia. That was interesting. It's almost as if he wasn't even watching them, but the Fissure block will be almost worse as Tremble's actually blocked off now. But he's going to go for Pharaoh instead. Pharaoh trying to finish out Behemoth. Will get that kill right there. But there's more things happening in the background in the meantime. It's really a split fight happening here. Pharaoh will barely survive as Fade actually comes back in with a buyback. But, again, just a little bit too late. So that was an interesting fight right there.
Yeah, Behemoth literally just walked right past Ophelia. There's the Flux ultimate, and Ophelia is in a lot of trouble. Hat-trick coming out for Owned Me. And now Fade's going to be a lot of trouble actually after just buying back. There's the quad kill coming out for Own Me. And too much damage is going on. Top damage charge actually goes to Tremble with that Mock of Brilliance. And second in second place is that Flux at 13%. Has that double damage activated. I'm sure that assisted in that quad kill right there. But after that, now they're going to easily push this bottom tower. And they're looking at a 28,000 gold and experience lead. This is pretty ridiculous.
Moraxis was pushing the top lane the whole time while that was happening. He just finished his Frostfield play, by the way. He's big. Trembles basically wants to die here. He does have a token of life, but 20 seconds left. There we go. Pharaoh will assist in that. And he comes right back up. So he puts a mount down and continue beating on the tower in the meantime. He does have his Shrunken Head, of course, to use. That Firebrand also purchased another 2750 gold saved up. Wrath of the Pharaoh going to hit him right there. But the tablet out from Flux. And he will be more than fine. You even see Boris assisting right there. Boris is in trouble. Boris will go down. That's unfortunate. But here comes some help. And actually, Moraxis is going to join the party. He jumps on perfectly right there. There's our Frostfield play. Beautiful explosion. Down goes Glacius, down goes Ophelia. Pharaoh's cuts his own mummy walls. He will go down. Flux is going to get taken out by Fade. But a hat trick coming out for Probusk right there on Tremble. Bubbles not going to live. Book picks him off. Flux is down at least. Or was at least. He bought back.
Bought back. Flux down, but not really. Geometer's Bane is actually picked up on Tremble. I am very curious as to why this game is still being played, but nonetheless, they have all the right to. So, yeah. Yeah, there's too much damage. There's the actually initiation coming out from Buch, and he does actually, the Shrunken Head is popped, but no, the Flux ulti pulls him back as well as his own pull. One more auto attack, he actually gets pushed, booked, but no, the Keg Stun is there. Glacius getting pushed all over the place. Must be rude. Engineer take a little bit of damage actually from the well there. Stun coming out, and actually does miss, unfortunately. Fade's going to walk back to that well. And we are commentating now a 34. Actually, Hook comes in from Pharaoh. Might actually be the demise of TBS Prices. He does die. And some more initiation onto Ophelia's in a lot of trouble. Tremble dishing out so much damage. There's the Flux blink in. No Shrunken Head up onto that Fade right there. She is going to fall as well. Bloodbath coming out for Probusk. Needs 2 more kills for that Immortal. Can he get it? We'll have to wait and see.
That's why they're staying in the game. Want to see if he can get that Annihilation. Now, you know, with them being an Australian team, again, they woke up early for this. Like, they've been waking up every day, I'm sure, for this event in general. So really props to them for that. But, you know, maybe that's a little bit more reason as to why they're staying in here. Because they woke up early. You might as well play as much as possible before you have to, you know, move on with a day. So whatever that may entail. But it's I'm going to go ahead and put a risk out there. But I think it's a win for Pikachu.
Owned Me just stole
the Annihilation he did. Or the Immortal. Yeah. Okay, I'm freaking out. Okay, there we go. Well, that was rude.
Rude.
You see, pushing him forward. What? I don't even know what you're saying. I'm so confused.
Anyway, we're almost at the 40k golden experience lead. Fades up here, wants to get that ultimate onto Flux. He seems to be the focal point of harass here coming out from Legion's side. He's actually might be in a little bit of trouble. He's all out of mana, cannot use a push book or anything, and he actually might die. There's the Immortal coming out, but Flux dies. I think that's what they were ultimately after. Double Immortal coming out for a Probus. He's 16-0. He is 625 gold per minute, and yeah, this game is over.
Is it? Is it though?
Are we going to see that MSI comeback that we're looking for?
Is that actually happening? No, it is not. Yeah, so this is a little bit at the trolling stage now for us. So with this victory, of course, as we said, going into the series, both of these teams technically still had a chance of maybe finishing top 3, but really Pikachu, they're in the better spot, and this is just game 1 of a best out of 3, so it isn't 100% over just yet, but. If it's played anyway the same as this game was, you got to think Pikachu is they're trying hard to get that 3rd and final spot. And again, they were a team that I personally picked going into it. I was curious to see this Jabba Wobbling crew here, but it just seems like they really are just getting outmatched. And a team that will need some more experience to compete on the competitive scene. But hey, they've gotten a couple wins here in this event. Look at the couriers, by the way. What is on those couriers? There's just a train of winged couriers following Engineer.
All right.
Because why the hell not? He has his pets. It's a good thing this game is still happening, right?
Yeah.
When stuff like this is going on.
All right.
Oh, boy.
What more can we say, Breaky? Storm Spirit picked up on the Behemoth. It's going to save that Tremble when he takes a lot of damage from this Legion side. Flux has pretty much the same items he's had before. And a Kongor attempt happening with a solo Engineer.
No, he has couriers.
Yeah, he has couriers to assist.
He has his minions with nothing on them.
Rune top, it did spawn into Haste Rune. Candy Corn Haste.
Yeah, that's always fun. Oh, there is action happening here. Tremble just continuing the streak. He's not going to be dying anything. He has an Assassin Tread, actually. That's pretty fun. Barrel goes down. There's another spread to the streak. Just more even happening. All right. Double tap. And Behemoth. Oh, my God. Behemoth will live.
Crazy.
GG now.
We're up to 47,000, and the GGs come out.
Finally.
And the JJs come out. That was a horrible Aussie accent.
That was bad.
JJ.
GG well played are officially called, though. And again, so that's it for game number 1. It is best of 3 series, so game 2 going to be coming up here. But Pikachu, they do look to be the stronger team at this point in time. So it's going to be interesting to see what Will Smith perhaps does here in game number 2. Trying to get a comeback to happen, or Pikachu will be on their way to finishing top 3 here in Group B. I don't know if there's much else to say, though. Nope, said plenty already.
Yeah.
There to finish off that game. So let's go ahead and take a quick break, guys. We will be coming back, though, with game number 2 between Pikachu and Will Smith, Best Rapper 2012 swag. Stay tuned. Coming up next.